Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your game by subscribing to our channel so you never miss our daily content. For exclusive access to our premium betting picks, join our Patreon. Find the link in the comments section below. Stay ahead with High Stakes. Tennessee Titans versus New Orleans Saints. With the hiring of Bill Callahan, a seasoned coach known for developing elite linemen, the Titans made a clear statement about their commitment to improving this unit. The addition of Lloyd Cushenberry, a veteran center, coupled with the drafting of J.C. Latham, a promising young tackle. Training camp reports have been promising, with offensive coordinator Nick Foles noting that the cohesion among the linemen is progressing well. The solidification of Dylan Radunz and Nicholas Petitfrere as the starters on the right side has been particularly encouraging, as it allows the entire line to build chemistry and work as a cohesive unit in the crucial weeks leading up to the season opener against the Chicago Bears. They're not going to build the best overnight, but it must be reliable enough to give Will Levis the time and protection necessary to fully execute the offense. With the weapons the Titans have added, a well-functioning offensive line could unlock the potential for an explosive attack, reminiscent of the team's high-powered offense during the Arthur Smith-led offenses of the late 2010s. The New Orleans Saints loss in Santa Clara saw good and bad. Bad news first. Injuries continue to plague the Saints, a trend that has been all too familiar in recent years. The game saw key players like Kool-Aid McKinstry, Sincere Haynesworth, and Christian Boyd briefly sidelined due to injuries, raising concerns about the team's ability to keep its stars healthy throughout the season, a crucial factor for their success in 2024. Additionally, the backup quarterbacks, Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler, struggled to replicate their strong Week 1 performance, combining for just 11 of 21 passing for 103 yards, disappointing fans who hoped for more consistent play from the young signal callers. Okay, to the good, Chase Young was a standout, delivering an electrifying performance against his former team. Young's presence was felt on nearly every play, showcasing the potential for him to be the Saints' best offseason acquisition and a catalyst for an elite pass rush. Anthony Orji also shined, displaying sharp instincts and earning a 91.6 PFF grade, the second highest on the team. His emergence will be a helpful addition to Demario Davis and Pete Werner's talent. The Saints' defense has been a standout so far, with players like Chase Young and Anthony Orji making a significant impact. Their defensive front has been effective at disrupting opposing offenses, and the unit's performance should be a strong asset against the Titans' offense still finding its rhythm. The Saints' offensive line has also shown resilience in protecting the quarterback and establishing the run game under Clint Kubiak, and there's a strong motivation to showcase improvements and build momentum heading into the regular season. Both teams are dealing with injuries, but the Saints' depth has shown resilience, as they've had to for 3 years now. They've managed to cope with injuries and still deliver competitive performances against Arizona and San Francisco. Gaining momentum with Jamal Williams as the RB2 and seeing Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener at home will provide a small boost to production for the sputtering offense. My team pick is New Orleans Saints plus 4 points. Both teams have consistently fallen short of high-scoring games, with the Titans hitting the under in both of their previous preseason contests. The same goes for the Saints, whose offense has been sluggish as they continue to adapt to new schemes and personnel under Clint Kubiak. The Titans, under first-year offensive coordinator Nick Foles, are still working out the kinks with a largely unproven group, especially behind center. Even with their starters expected to play 3 drives, it's worth noting that they've struggled to find the end zone in the early going. In their last game, the Titans' backup quarterbacks, including Will Levis, showed inconsistency, failing to capitalize on key opportunities. While they've made some strides over in New Orleans, the Saints' offense remains a work in progress, especially with injuries limiting their ability to build momentum. The 16-10 loss to the 49ers showcased a defense that's already in sync, but also an offense that's yet to find its groove. The Saints' offensive line, though improved, is still gelling, and the team's quarterback rotation hasn't inspired much confidence in their ability to light up the scoreboard. The focus for the Saints, much like the Titans, will likely be on execution and minimizing mistakes rather than pushing the pace or taking risks downfield. Defensively, Both teams have been stout, with the Titans' new-look linebacking core showing signs of life under Dennard Wilson, and the Saints' pass rush, led by the newly acquired Chase Young, proving disruptive. My total pick is under 36.5 points. Arizona Cardinals versus Denver Broncos. In their first two preseason games, the Arizona Cardinals offense has failed to muster any sustained momentum, averaging under 2 touchdowns per game, losing both. This week, starting QB Kyler Murray will rest to get ready for the opening week of the regular season. Clayton Tune will be the team starter in this matchup as he battles it out with Desmond Ridder for the backup role. Tune has thrown for 242 yards in the preseason, completing 68% of his passes and connecting for 1 touchdown. Ridder has gone 10-18 for 114 yards and no TDs. In his second season at the helm, Sean Payton has a lot to prove to the Denver faithful, and he has chosen to do so with a first-year signal caller under center. First-round pick Bo Nix, the 12th overall selection, was named the team's starting quarterback. The status for Sunday is unknown, but you can expect to see a lot of backups Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson as the veteran duo remain in pursuit of the first backup slot. Wilson was 12-19 for 146 yards and a TD, while Stidham went 11-18 for 102 yards, with 2 interceptions. When they met last, Arizona won 18-17 in the first week of preseason games last year. The two sides have fared much differently in this preseason. The Cardinals are still very much in search of their identity, while the Broncos seem to have cleaned up the mess from a season ago. Denver will be going with a rookie QB to start this season, and Nix will probably see a series of downs in this one, giving way to a pair of vets who could do a little damage against the Cardinals' defense. Stidham and Wilson are very much duking it out for the QB2 spot, so they have something to prove. Expect those two, in particular, to stand out in this matchup. Denver's defense has done well enough this preseason and should do well against Arizona's second and third stringers. My team pick is Denver minus 3.5 points. While the Broncos' offense has done a decent job in putting up points in the preseason, the Cardinals cannot say the same. Arizona's offense has struggled to find the end zone. The visitors also come into this one having already stated that their starting quarterback, among other starters, will not be playing in this game. While the Tune Ridder QB2 battle is intriguing, I feel in this matter it will only lead to forced errors against a Denver defense hungry to prove their worth. This is the last shot for teams to try some things out before the regular season, so with some oddities possible, expect for this one to stay a low-scoring affair. My total pick is under 35.5 points. New England Patriots versus Washington Commanders. After beating the Carolina Panthers handily in the first week of preseason, the Pats could not pull out another victory, falling at home to the Philadelphia Eagles 14-13. The number 3 overall draft pick, rookie Drake May, was effective, completing 6 of 11 passes for 47 yards and punching in a TD on a 4-yard scamper in the second quarter. New England took a 10-3 lead into halftime, but 2 field goals and a 1-yard TD run by the Eagles in the fourth put the game out of reach. Pats QB Jacoby Brissett, who is competing with May for the starting job, did not look sharp, completing 3 of 7 passes for 17 yards and threw a costly pick in the Eagles' end zone in the first quarter. Returning wideout Keyshawn Bout hauled in 3 passes for 23 yards to lead New England's receiving core. Their defense, considered a strength, struggled at times, giving up 283 total yards of offense to the Eagles, but they did sack Philadelphia's quarterback 5 times. The Commanders lost their second straight preseason game last weekend when they fell to the Dolphins in Miami 13-6. Washington rookie QB Jaden Daniels was effective, completing 10 of 12 passes for 78 yards and a 13-yard rushing TD that accounted for his team's lone score. Backup Jeff Driscoll entered in relief of Daniels in the second quarter and went 11-15 for 82 yards. Washington's ground game was solid, averaging 5 yards a carry for 111 yards, with Driscoll leading the way with 45 yards. The receiving corps gained 252 yards on 32 receptions, but was held out of the end zone by the Miami defense. Washington's D sacked the opposing quarterback 4 times and gave up 288 yards of total offense. The Commanders have named Daniels their starting QB for the first week of the regular season. Washington's offense has struggled this preseason, failing to exceed 17 points in both contests. The Patriots have lost 3 of their previous 4 preseason contests against the spread, including a defeat last week against the Eagles. New England lost 4 straight games ATS to close their 2023 season as well. Their offense has stumbled leading up to the regular season, failing to exceed 17 points in their prior 3 games. New England ranks near the bottom of the league in multiple offensive categories this preseason, so they may not possess the firepower to mount a comeback on the road if they find themselves down early to Washington. The Commanders have won 2 of their previous 3 preseason games against the spread in front of the home crowd and came within 1.5 points of making it 3 in a row. QB Jaden Daniels, the 2nd overall pick in the draft, looked sharp in extended minutes for Washington, completing 10 of 12 passes for 78 yards and a rushing TD. Washington's rushing attack averaged 5 yards per carry last week, so look for the Commanders to control the game's tempo as they make their way downfield. The stats and trends strongly support a Washington victory at home against New England on Saturday. My team pick is Washington plus 4.5 points. The Patriots have gone under the point total in 4 of their previous 5 preseason matchups, which is no surprise since they have been one of the lowest scoring teams overall in the league recently. They have gone under in both of their games this season and failed to exceed 17 points in their prior 3 contests, and they went under the point total in 5 of their first 6 regular season games last year. While giving several new offensive players at key positions significant minutes last week, they could only score 1 TD, a 4-yard run by rookie QB May. The Pats were stingy giving up yards last year, ranking 7th in the league in yards allowed per game with 301.6. Most signs point to a lower scoring affair in Washington this week. The Commanders have failed to crack 17 points in 3 of their previous 5 preseason games and managed only 6 points on a QB scramble against the Dolphins last week. Washington's defense held the Dolphins to only 13 points last week in Miami. The Patriots project a much weaker offense that will yield fewer opportunities to score than Miami, so Washington should prevent New England from adding many points to the score sheet. Most signs point to a lower scoring affair in Washington this weekend. My total pick is under 35.5 points.